Windows PowerShell for networking professionals. Hello and welcome to the series. My name is Flynn Bundy, and in this series we're going to be diving into the world of PowerShell for the networking professional and the general IT pro. If you're interested in networking commandlets and how you can use PowerShell to better yourself and better your command over the network and all of the devices out there, this is the series for you. Let's start off by taking a look at what this is applicable to and how this is going to help. Now, the code throughout this series is mostly applicable to Windows Server 2008 R2 running PowerShell version 4.0, and also Windows Server 2012 running PowerShell version 4.0, and we're going to have Windows Server 2012 R2 running PowerShell version 4.0 or 5.0, so the later version as well. Now, the most of our code throughout this series is going to be done on this operating system right here, so R2. So there will be a little bit that relates back to 2008, but if you're running 2008, that's fine as well. A lot of this is going to be applicable, so don't feel left out if you're running just 2008. One of the best parts about 2008 is that it can be upgraded to PowerShell version 4.0, so I would highly recommend you go out there and download that. Now, some of the other code in this series is going to be done on Windows Server 2016 running PowerShell version 5.0. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much going to be the same as 4.0. I'll mention some of the newer things that are available in 5.0, but we don't want to have any sort of exclusive code to that area right now. We just want to kind of keep this open and keep it broad, and the majority of you out there are probably going to be using Windows Server 2012 or R2 running PowerShell version 4.0. So we'll mostly just stick to that. So let's take a look at some of the things PowerShell can help us to do, some of the things that PowerShell has a really easy time doing, and that's things like configuring network adapters, setting firewall rules. So the Windows firewall, this can configure this to do sets and denies and a whole bunch of stuff with profiles, etc. There's a whole lot of stuff that we'll go into throughout Windows firewalls and configure network adapters. If you want to configure hundreds of devices with a single line of code, PowerShell has got you. It's going to help you out to do some amazing stuff with automation around multiple machines, either a 1-to-1 session or a 1-to-1000 session. It doesn't matter. PowerShell has an easy time doing that. So we can do things like make changes to DNS and DHCP, and we'll go through practical examples of these all as we go through them. So IP address management, a very core fundamental to PowerShell, and we'll do some really great stuff with IP address management. And we're just going to automate our way to success here. We're going to automate your way to glory, and that's really what PowerShell is all about. It's an automation framework. This is Windows Server, and Microsoft's way of giving us automation tools here. This is their fundamental. And this is the way it's all heading in the future. So, it's a great time to get on board now if you're just a PowerShell newcomer. So let's take a look at some of the modules we'll be covering throughout this series. There's going to be quite a few, and this is just going to be some of them. So we'll start off with the discovery of networking commandlets. So how to find your way around, how to discover PowerShell and how to discover the networking side of it. There's quite a lot of networking commandlets to it, and there's quite a lot of networking aspects. So we'll discover how we're going to do that and how we're going to learn about those. We'll also cover the core networking commandlets, so the fundamentals here, things like network adapter configuration, and there's going to be quite a bit there. So it's just the core part to it. We'll do a deeper dive into the core stuff as well, so that's going to be quite a big one. We'll also work with input data, so we're going to have a whole bunch of data that could get passed to us, CSVs, text files, HTML, configuration, working with data coming into PowerShell and how you can use it to really dig through things and export that data out into another format, or how you control through that data for certain keywords using multiple methods. So we'll also cover PowerShell remoting, which is just such a huge topic, and there's so much to cover in it. The aspects of it, the fundamentals, the theory, how it works, everything for PowerShell remoting we'll try and cover throughout this series. Now, another big part of this is going to be network troubleshooting. There's also going to be some troubleshooting we'll do later on in this series where we can take a look into, troubleshooting certain ports. We can do connectivity. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff with PowerShell that will help us troubleshoot network issues. Now we're also going to take a look into regular expressions, which is a very important part of PowerShell, which allows us to give a certain set of data, or what a certain set of data should look like, and then we can go through and pull out other bits of data that look like that. So this is going to be a really interesting topic, and it's just a great thing to talk about, great thing to know. So I really am looking forward to getting into that. So for those of you who are following along from home, this is my domain that we're going to be using throughout this series. I'm sitting here on my host, and we are running Hyper-V, and we have a domain here called Spoon. So this is called spoon.corp, and here we are running Windows Server 2012 R2 on everything, except this server here is going to be running Windows Server 2016. So this is our domain controller, of course. Now all of this is connected to my host via a bridged Ethernet adapter here. So we're on a virtual switch here that's connected back to my host's bridged Ethernet adapter. So welcome to Spoon.corp, welcome to the series, let's get into it, I'm really looking forward to it.